Hello and welcome to Mature Student Orientation at IT Tralee. My name is Valerie Moore and I'm the Access Officer, and I'm delighted to be welcoming you as a new student to our college. This morning, as part of Mature Student Orientation, you will be meeting the Students' Union. You'll be learning a little about tips for learning and studying at IT Tralee, and we'll be telling you a little bit more about Head Start Maths, academic writing and IT. We'll give you an overview of the Access and Student Support Services, and we'll just talk a little bit about changing direction in your studies, and also you will have the opportunity to meet with your mature student peer mentors. IT Tralee's Access Office coordinates supports for mature students, for students with disabilities, for students from the Irish Traveller community, ethnic minority students, and students experiencing socioeconomic disadvantage. As the Access Officer, I coordinate specifically supports for mature students, students with physical, sensory, mental health and significant health conditions, for students from ethnic minority groups who are resident in Ireland, and for students experiencing disadvantage. I work very closely with Stephanie Summers, who you'll meet later on. Stephanie is our PATH coordinator, and Stephanie coordinates supports for the 1916 bursary, the Sanctuary Scholarships, and the Mature Student Peer Mentor Programme. Please remember that Mature Student Orientation is only one part of your new student orientation programme, so please remember to complete all relevant parts of the orientation programme and make sure that you are introduced to all the student support services teams. When you might make contact with the Access Office would be if you require a calendar of the study skills workshops. Jane Brennan facilitates these workshops, and she sets up a calendar of events throughout the year, and you may wish to receive a copy of the calendar if you haven't received it already. You might be looking for disability-related support, or you may wish to inquire about the government laptop loan scheme. You may be having difficulties with your SUSI application, or you may have financial support queries. You may wish to apply for the Student Assistance Fund or the 1916 bursary, or reach out to your mature student peer mentor. If you're concerned about accessing your academics, sometimes it can be a little difficult to know in the beginning who to talk to and where to go. Please feel free to contact the Access Office and we will point you in the right direction. In general, what I'm saying is if you don't know where to go, please contact the Access Office. We'll signpost you along your journey and make sure that you get to the supports that you need. On Tuesday the 8th of September, we'll be facilitating a fees, finances and laptops information session. So this session will be focusing specifically on financial supports, including SUSI, back to education allowance and supports that are available in the community. And we'll also be focusing on the government laptop loan scheme and how to apply for that. And what the criteria are. So if you can't make the session, please look up our recording of that session, which will be made available to you. To contact the Access Office, the best email to use is access@ittralee.ie. Stephanie manages this email inbox, and it's the best way to set up an appointment or to get an answer to a general query or a general question. I can be contacted at valerie.moore@ittralee.ie, and my number is 066 719 1682. My mobile is 086 368 2453, and Stephanie's number is 066 714 5636, and again her email is access@ittralee.ie. Remember, for all of our orientation presentations from my colleagues in Student Services, please visit www.ittralee.ie/orientation/. I'd like to introduce Siobhan McGarry. Siobhan is our Officer for Students with Learning Difference, and she coordinates supports for students with learning difference, including dyslexia. And I'll hand over to Siobhan. Thank you.
Hello to you all and very welcome to IT Tralee. As Vanda said, I'm Siobhan McGarry and I'm the Officer for Students with Learning Difference, and I'm just going to talk briefly about the service for students with learning difference. Now, just to say to you that there'll be more detail about this service as part of the general orientation, so I'm not going to go into huge detail now, just going to tell you who the service is for, all right? So if you are a student who has had in the past, if you've been diagnosed with a dyslexia or a dyspraxia or Asperger's syndrome or ADD or ADHD or an acquired brain injury or perhaps a borderline mild general learning difficulty, well then the service is available for you. Now, if you are one of those students and you haven't yet sent in your educational report about your learning difference, we'd encourage you to do that as soon as possible. If you've already sent in that report, we have it, and that's great. Now, some of you listening might say, well, now, look, I had some difficulties. I got support in school, or I had some arrangements put in place for my exams, but I don't think I really had a diagnosis, or I don't think there's any report. What I would say to you, if you're one of those people, can you go back to your place of education, if it was in recent years, and ask them to put together a letter which outlines the nature of difficulties you had, the support they put in place, and any special arrangements they might have made for your exams, etc. So once you have that letter from your last place of education, we'd ask you to forward that to Student Support Services, and then that will make it possible for me to have a meeting with you. So for the people who avail of the service for students with learning difference, the most important thing that happens is we arrange a needs assessment meeting where you and I will meet together and discuss your story, have a look at the difficulties you may have had in the past, and formulate a little bit of a plan for moving forward. Now, there'll be a lot more detail, as I say, about that plan and how all of that works during the orientation for all the students. So if you're one of those students, look out for the presentation I'll be giving around learning difference. Now, every year when we come back and the new group of mature students, there are a certain number of students who are sitting here saying, look, I always had problems at school. I always had difficulty learning. I know it could have been for one thing or another, but I'm pretty sure I must have been dyslexic. Now, every year I meet students like that. And what I say to you is just right now is hold tight, get started on your course, and take time to find your feet. All right? I think across all of mature student entry into college, we'll have lots of people who may have had a past of a little bit of dyslexia or other learning difference, but we're moving into a new way of learning. And if you come into it with that open and growth mindset that Jane has just talked about, you could find that you actually manage this kind of learning a lot better than you would have managed traditional learning at school. For all students, it's very new and it's very different. And I know today you're hearing, perhaps you even have children today who are hearing all about the calculated grades, etc. And you might be feeling, oh my goodness, that's all so highbrow and I haven't done anything like that. But what I would say to all of you, and as you'll discover when you're doing your Head Start program, it is a very different approach to learning at third level. And if you approach that with an open mindset, you can achieve greatly. In fact, that's what it makes it so exciting for us here, year in, year out, meeting the new mature students coming in, realizing you're at the beginning of a journey, you'll be going forward, and a lot of new learning. And as Jane says, there will be some mistakes along the way, but also a lot of new opportunities for you, and we're delighted to be there to support you on that. Now, remembering I'm talking to all of you, and especially to those of you who may feel you had a learning difficulty that was never identified, there are a lot of supports out there and available to all the students. And indeed, those students who do come forward and who have documentation and who have a needs assessment with the Service for Students with Learning Difference, they will also be availing of these supports. They're there for everyone. There's going to be supports around managing your academic writing, supports around managing academic reading, some hints and indicators on how to use technology to support you. That's there for all of the students, so to be sure to embrace it. Now, there's one or two tips that I'm always inclined to pass off on this very first day that we meet and talk. One of the things that I know from talking to students in my office, one of the big challenges of coming into third level is the new language and the new vocabulary and all the new words. And that can become quite overwhelming as it's coming at you over those first few weeks. I have a tip that I pass on each year to students, and it's this. In the evening time, when you're at home looking at the notes that you have been hearing about during the day, take out your highlighter marker and perhaps select 5 words that are new to you that your lecturer seemed to use a lot. Just 5 words any evening. And take those words out and go look them up and see what those words mean. And then create a small little personal notebook for yourself. It could be a really cheap notebook that you get in the pound shop. And take each page of the notebook, mark one of the notebooks A, the next page of the notebook B, C. So in other words, you're creating your own little personal dictionary. And put the words, the 5 words you've chosen each day that you've learnt the meaning of, put them into that personal notebook. And then have that personal notebook beside you, whether you're in class in an IT Tralee or whether you're remote at home and on the screen. Have that notebook beside you. And when the lecturer uses that word, again, check your notebook to remind yourself what that word means. Now, if you take 5 words a day over a period of 2 weeks, you will have acquired quite a number of the words that are being used for any particular course. So the language and the vocabulary, it's very, very challenging when you come into third level, but if you piece it off in a manner like I've just suggested there, that can be really helpful for you in trying to crack all this new terminology. Now, I'm not going to talk on for too much longer, but I'm going to finish with a just quick brief story because I know the student involved won't mind at all. Jane, in her very first slide, showed you some emojis and talked about how there'll be such mixed emotions starting at third level, and maybe some fear and maybe a lot of excitement. Well, just about 2 weeks ago, I got an email from a mature student who has finally now finished their honours degree and will be graduating in October. Now, when that student started, I honestly don't think that student had ever so much as turned on a computer before. And when they started in first year, they were completely terrified of the technology for those first few weeks. But that student looked the challenges in the eye, and there were many challenges over the year, but they looked the challenges in the eye and they sought the support they needed, and through thick and thin they came through, first of all, to their level 7 degree, and now they have their level 8 degree. And they're just one of many examples we've seen over the year. So I'm particularly reaching out to anybody today who might be feeling a little bit nervous about all this online stuff and all this computer stuff and all this technology that we keep referring to. We're here to help you with this, to support you, and you will learn those skills over time. So look, best of luck in the coming weeks. I will definitely be meeting some of you. Others of you, I would say, if you have the suspicion and feel there's a learning difference, take your time, find your feet. If by midterm you're really concerned that you're not managing, then maybe it's the time to make contact and we can have a chat then. So best of luck with everything, and I'm passing back now to Val.
Thank you very much for that. And as you say, it can be a time of great transition for people, but I hope everybody's getting a sense of the amount of support and help and just goodwill that's there from all of us for you. I must say, it's so strange not to be able to see you. Normally we would be in a lecture theatre this morning and we'd all be eyeballing each other. So it's very different for all of us this morning. I hope everybody is getting on okay. Next, I'd like to ask Kevin Ross to introduce himself. Kevin is our Society's officer, and Kevin, if you could please step up. Thank you very much.
Yeah, hello guys. My name is Kevin Ross. I'm the Society's officer here at the college. IT is soon to be MTU. So basically, look, societies is really where you focus on, the culture, the creative, intellectual, social side of your experience here at college. It really is a platform, to put it in plain, simple terms, it really is a platform where you get to meet other people. You get to meet other people that are in similar positions, you get to chat, you get to bash ideas off them. Societies is really where we'll be able to set up meetings throughout the year, a couple of times a year, where you'll be able to go on. At the moment, a lot of it will be online. But hopefully, as before, like there would have been coffee mornings, there would have been lunchtime, so where you bring your lunch, have a chat, just talk about what you're all at, because I'm sure it's a very scary time, like to be able to come back to college and to be able to, understand what's going on. And obviously, as Siobhan said there, at the start of the year, people go mad about technology and all this kind of thing. But Siobhan had an absolutely amazing story there about how that student now is graduating in October. Like at the moment, we are creating a software to streamline the sign up for all the students and to know when the meetings are on and to get notifications either through text and email. So it's going to be very easy for you all. And the sign up, once you start, you'll all get an email, basically simple sign ups to actually join the society. And it really is, as I said again, just getting you to come together. As in, how I say to you, it's a support network of peers because you're all in the same position, you can all meet up. Every society is made up of a committee and then the members, so you have the chairperson, secretary, treasurer and PRO. A lot of those committee members will stay on from last year, but if anyone decides to leave, it'll be open up to yourselves. It is very little work to run a society. Literally, it's you coming together saying, look, we'll be having a meeting this day, we'll be having a meeting this day, and then they can obviously create topics of conversation, and every year then we get the careers office involved. So we get the careers officer, Marilyn, to come on, and it could be possibly more than likely online again for this year, where ask all different questions throughout the year as to, in aspects of careers. Every year then with societies, there's actually national awards that if, for new society, best fresher, etc., they're national awards, so you're competing against all the rest of the societies around the country. I won't go into that in detail now at the moment because with COVID and all that kind of thing, we don't really know how that's going to work. It's another great way to meet different people, to talk. I suppose it just keeps on coming to my head. The biggest tip that I give you, and it's so small, it's such a simple one, is know the students' union, talk to them, go up to student supports. They're there to ask questions, fire emails at them. Check your emails. That's a massive one because whether it's societies, sports, clubs, the student supports, your lecturers, check your emails. When those inboxes get full and they get full to the point where they actually can't receive any more emails, you might miss an important email. I just say that to every group that I meet. It's nothing got to do with societies, but it's something that I've seen happen numerous times where I've had, just say, the mature student societies were meeting and then they didn't know what was happening because their actual inbox was so full that just go in, file them away, delete the ones that you don't need. Examples of societies would be mental health awareness, St. Vincent de Paul, TV and film, Makra, manga and anime, drama, dance. A lot of them will be happening online, as I said, but follow the Facebook, ITT Societies, follow the Instagram account if you're on Instagram, and my email is societiesofficer@itttralee.ie. Look, I wish you all the best, and I hope it goes well, and thanks a million. Thanks, Val, thanks, Steph.
Thank you very much for that, Kevin. Now we will hear from Jane Brennan with some key pointers for self-care and smart time management.
Well, good morning everyone and welcome to IT Tralee. My name's Jane Brennan, and I work with students across the board here on study skills. So I'm just going to share with you this morning a few tips for study success here that hopefully might help you think about how you approach your studies. So first of all, how are you feeling this morning? Hopefully most of you will have some element of excitement about starting a brand new course, but there are bound to be mixed feelings. You're mature students, so the chances are that you have some concerns at this stage. You might be wondering about your timetable, how that'll fit with your other commitments. You might be concerned about work, about how you're going to fit in family. You might be concerned about coming back to education after a long time out of it. Just to say that all of these feelings are absolutely normal at this stage, and the great majority of students starting, especially mature students, will have a whole lot of conflicting feelings. So don't be overly concerned about that. You will have all the supports that you need here to deal with all these issues. So hopefully you can put the worries on one side for the time being, knowing that you will have time to deal with them and support in the coming days and weeks. Okay, so I'm going to share with you 8 quick tips for success based on the students that we've met here over a number of years. The first one is to take charge of your learning. It's really important that you realise that here you are the boss. You may have been out of education since school, and sometimes at school you can feel you're in a bit of almost a passive position. The teachers tell you what to do, your parents tell you what to do, and you just do it. Here, it's really important that you don't wait for other people to tell you what to do. Obviously, you will be given instructions by your lecturers and by other people, but you're the boss. You take charge of your learning. If you need something, if you need help, go and look for it. Take charge of your learning. Another way that you can take charge of your learning is by signing up for the Head Start course, which is coming up next week, which is laid on for mature students, just to get a brief introduction to the skills you might need for academic writing and maths in your courses. So that's another way that you can take charge of your learning here. Second, organise your time. Time management is said to be the #1 study skill. You may have got by in the past by organising your time in your head. Here, it's probably going to be really important for you to actually make written schedules so that you don't become overwhelmed with things. Your timetables should be out in the next couple of weeks. You can start with that, but you also need to balance that your timetable with your individual study, but also with your other commitments, with your family commitments or work commitments, and also leave time for some leisure time. That's really important. You can't put that on pause for 4 years while you're here. So make sure that you organise your time. Obviously, a plan doesn't always survive contact with reality, so be prepared to adapt and change it, but it's important actually to start with some kind of a schedule. Number 3 is organise your information. I'm afraid there is a huge deluge of information that's just about to land on you, and some of that will be on paper and a lot of it will be in digital format. So be ready for it, and have a system where you can store the information in a way that you'll be able to find it again. So you may need to invest in folders that you can label, and you might want to set up digital folders on your laptop or whatever device you're using. And then as you get into your course, it's really important to invest time on a regular basis, only a small amount of time, but maybe a daily few minutes to filing information where it's supposed to be. This will save you huge amounts of time in the long run, because you'll know where your information is, where you're looking for it, and you won't waste time hunting for something really important that you don't know where it is at all. So organise your information. Find out what technology can do for you. There is so much helpful technology. Probably most of us use Word regularly now, but there may well be features of Word that you haven't needed to use up to now that may be useful. As part of your registration, you have access to the full suite of Microsoft Office programs. So get to know those and see if any of them appeal to you. Get to know all the different features of them. There's a lot of other free and easily accessible software as well that you can use for different functions. There will be workshops on this during the year, so look out for them. But just if you have a little look around and see what kinds of apps and technology you think might be useful for you. Number 5 is look after your lifestyle, and this is really, really important. Your brain and your body are not separate. They're part of one big system. So you can't possibly expect to spend 3 or 4 years here just focusing on your brain and not looking after your body, because your brain will not function at its best then, let alone your body. So yeah, important to look after your lifestyle. And there's 3 aspects I'd like to just briefly mention. First of all is exercise. There's plenty scientific research to show that exercise is crucial to learning. It helps with concentration, it helps with learning, and that's both in the long term and the short term. So having a regular exercise practice will help you as you study. Having a little bit of exercise on the morning of the exam even will improve your performance, and there's plenty scientific evidence to show that this is the case. It doesn't have to be huge exercise. You could, if you're a runner, that's great, but walking is fine too. And if you're involved in some kind of sport, don't feel that you have to give that up. Find a way to schedule it into your week, because it will help you with your study. It's not just a separate thing. Second is diet. Again, there's plenty research to show that a poor diet leads to poor concentration and poor learning. You need to eat decent meals, proper meals, healthy, balanced diet in order to be at your best for study, as well as for your general health and well-being. And the third one, which is perhaps less known up to now, is sleep. I suppose we have a stereotyped idea of a student staying up all night to study, and that's an incredibly bad idea. Sleep is an essential part of your study. Sleep is the time when the information that we've taken in during the day sinks in and sticks. It's really essential for memory and for concentration. It's indispensable for learning. So make sure that you look after your sleep, you practice good sleep hygiene, and get your 7 or 8 hours a night if you want to perform your best at college. Number 6 is learn from mistakes. There may be some among you who will sail through your 3 or 4 years here without anything being troublesome or difficult, but I'd say you're a very small minority, if at all. There's going to be ups and downs in your study, inevitably, and sometimes things go wrong. People sometimes find that terribly difficult and think, oh, maybe I'm not cut out for this course. It's too much for me. People can jump very quickly to that kind of feeling from a simple, small thing going wrong. Mistakes are a part of the learning process. Getting things wrong is essential to learning. If we can't make mistakes, we can't learn effectively. Obviously, you have to get through assessments and assignments and exams, but don't put yourself under pressure. There's always another chance. There's another way of moving forward. So when things are difficult or go wrong, it's a case of thinking, so why did that go wrong, and what can I do to improve things for the future? So don't get hung up on your mistakes. They're opportunities to learn from. Just take a couple of deep breaths and reframe it in a more helpful way. 7 is collaborate. In some classes you may be asked by your lecturers to work on team projects. In others you might not, but it's a good idea to collaborate with your classmates in any case. There was a group of students I was dealing with last year who had got together in first year and set up a study group, and they'd supported each other through assignments and studying for exams, and given each other pep talks when the going got tough and so on. And they kept their study group going over the full time of their course, and all of them credited it with their success in the long term, getting through the course. So study groups can be incredibly helpful. I know these days things are not easy, but you can contact each other online. You can set up WhatsApp groups. Your classmates are one of your biggest resources in succeeding here. So don't wait to be told to collaborate or taught to collaborate. Figure it out for yourself. Make contact with your classmates. Discuss with them. That's how you learn best. We learn by talking to other people. So make use of that resource that you have. And finally, express yourself and have fun. There is no course here where the lecturers are trying to turn out robotic carbon copy graduates. Each person brings so much different experience to whatever it is they're studying, and as mature students that's doubly so for yourselves. So be aware of that. Be aware that you're bringing a lot to your study, and that you're learning your topic in an entirely unique way that nobody has ever done before. So be free to bring your experience to whatever it is you're learning, and enjoy your study. Okay, that's my 8 quick tips. Hopefully you'll come back to some of those, and I hope to be meeting some of you in the next while and over the few years that you're here. So good luck with your studies, and I hope to talk to you soon.
Thank you very much for that, Jane. Next, we introduce you to the Students' Union President, Patrina Comerford, Chris Clifford and Pa McElligott at the Students' Union.
Hi everyone, my name is Patrina Comerford and I'm delighted to be your Students' Union President. I represent you both locally and nationally, and I represent your views on committees within the college. If you need anything throughout the year, please don't hesitate to contact me.
Hi, how's it going? So my name is Chris Clifford. I'm your Education Officer this year. So I'm here to help you with anything academic wise. So that can be in relation for exams, in relation for timetables, SUSI, Student Assistance Fund, anything like that. You can contact me at education@ittreesu.ie and book an appointment with me, and I'll be happy to help you out. So thanks for your time, and I hope to see you around campus.
Hi, my name is Pa McElligott and I'm the new Welfare Officer at IT Tralee Students' Union. My roles within this position are to advise and support students with any issues regarding their mental health, physical health or sexual health, along with road safety. If you'd like to book an appointment, feel free to contact me via email or phone number.
Thank you, Patrina, Chris and Pa. Best wishes to you and the team in the SU this year.
Hello, everyone. My name is Grania. I'm going into 3rd year in business. I'm doing the accounting stream. There's also marketing and management available in that. My tips really would be reiterating what Jane said. The semesters are short. Just keep on top of your coursework so that you're not overwhelmed come exam times. The Head Start program, as I said in the chat there, I would thoroughly recommend it. I really found it very, very beneficial, particularly for the academic writing. It was really, really good. and also to keep an eye on what grants or bursaries are available there. They should be on the IT Tralee page. And even if your situation changes during the year, do you know what I mean, contact the Access Office and they'll be able to guide you. Also, filing your emails, as Kevin said, just to keep on top, as you say, you know, if you want to find an email afterwards and stuff like that, just file them away. That's basically it for me.
Grania, thank you very much for that. As usual, full of some great advice and great tips for the students. You're probably noticing that quite a number of people are mentioning the emails and staying on top of the emails. And I suppose just as they do get busy, your inbox is quite busy, and it can be quite a challenge sifting out the good stuff from the maybe not so important stuff. So I think that daily habit of staying on top of the emails is really important, because it is the way all the services, the lecturers, exams office, admissions, it's how everybody communicates. So if you miss a day, it can certainly build up quite quickly. So it's really good advice. Mentors, anybody else like to say a few words to the group? Stick your hand up, or if it's in the chat, Steph is keeping an eye on the chat. Pavlina, thank you.
Hello, my name is Paulina. I study social care in IT Tralee. I go to the 4th year, and I am mentor for last 3 years. I just want to tell you few things. Just don't. My problem was, when I start, I was just worried to ask someone for help. You know, I was so excited being in college. After a while, after a week, it was just, I was overwhelmed, because I think it was too much new information. I don't remember what they say, you know, and because my language, English language, is not my first language, then I also have problems sometimes understand what they mean. My tip is ask for help anytime when you just feel pressure, or if you feel you have some question marks, you know, and you don't know what's going on. Ask the mentors. That's the first line for you. The other tip is, James say loads of things about help from IT Tralee. I just, you know, oh my God, I'm just, there was loads of things about the Grammarly, which is a program for people who just have a problem with English language. There is also another things for reading, you know, which Valerie, and there can help you with that. Just don't be afraid to ask. That's my tip.
Thank you to the new students that have just joined us. Want to say congratulations, and you know, just to encourage you and to say that you've taken a good step to, you know, come into college at this time, to just congratulate you, and you know, just feel relaxed, feel free. You know, you've been having lots of people come in to talk to you. Please just, you know, feel free, like just feel relaxed to pop in any questions, any comments, you know, just to tell you congratulations, and that we are glad and, you know, really happy to be of help to you. I'm one of the mentors, and, you know, you have great people, you know, in the team that, you know, you can reach out to us at any time. So just feel free, and, you know, welcome to you all. Have a great time in IT Tralee. Welcome.
I'm Dennis. I'm going into the 3rd year of civil engineering. It's going to be my first year as a mentor, but I hope to do my best anyway. My one tip for any new student this year is to keep focused. This is a new adventure for everyone, not just yourselves, but everyone in the college, because we're going blended learning, and it's going to be tough. There's no doubt about that. Things will get heavy during the semester, and there is support services for everyone, so use them. Even talk to your lecturer if you have problems. And if you just want to relax and have a chat, we're always there.
Thank you, Dennis. I think you may have touched on the overarching message here today. Don't be afraid to ask a question. Put up your hand, reach out. Someone is always there for you at IT Tralee. Now it's over to Siobhan.
My name is Siobhan Creedon, and I've been lecturing in the Business and Creative Media Department in the college for the last 25 years, but I've also been the Further Education and Training Officer. So those of you who have come through the Colleges of Further Education over the last number of years, you may well have met me on your travels. So I'm delighted to welcome you here today. I think some of you are there who have come in through an advanced entry route, i.e. with a QQI level 6. And some of you may have a QQI level 5 for entry into year 1. So I suppose my role is as an extra support to all the others that you've met with this morning. So if you have, I suppose, issues about your course content, yes, you have your lecturer and you have your course coordinator and your class tutor, but I'm there also to make sure that you settle in well, that that what you have done in your QQI program up to now and your experience matches well with the course that you have chosen. So if you find in the first couple of weeks that things are a little bit hectic, please feel free to contact me via my email. If you see me in the corridor, feel free to stop me, socially distanced, of course, and we can meet and we can chat and we can see where you are and any small issues that may arise over the course of the next few weeks. From my experience with the mature students and those who have done a QQI level 5 or 6, that when it comes to finishing your level 7 and your level 8, you're way up there. So it's very much I suppose at this stage, trying to get to grips with things, trying not to let things get too much for you, and to put the hand up and give a little shout to us the minute you think that you're getting a little bit overwhelmed. If that's the case, it will be very different this year. But as the others have all said, we're all here to help, and I'm certainly looking forward to joining you on your exciting journey at IT Tralee, and I have no doubt that you'll be very happy here with us. So, any questions from anybody? Just to say one thing, that if there are people there who have a level 6 and who haven't come in through directly to second year on the advanced entry route, give me a shout, because you may be entitled to some exemptions from your program. So that's something that I can have a look at with you and advise you on whether it's worth, or whether you think it's worthwhile to get an exemption from a subject that you may already have a qualification in. So that's one thing I can certainly help you with.
Thank you very much, Siobhan. Does anybody have any questions for Siobhan? Crystal clear, Siobhan. I'd like to ask my colleague Christina Boland, our Traveller Access Officer, to please introduce herself and the services.
All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Christina Boland. I'm a third level Traveller Access Officer, and I'm in the IT with the last 10 years. And I'm there to support traveller families and traveller students that comes in through the college. Now, I think today is around first year, so welcome to the IT, and I'm looking forward to meeting you. My role is, in case as a traveller, sometimes you might feel isolated and feel alone and feel like dropping out after a few weeks. That's where we comes into place. So if you have any questions around accommodation, grants, support that you might need, or your studies, or maybe any assessments that's coming up or anything, just know that I'm here to help you. I'm in the college Monday to Thursday, and I'm in North and South Campus. And for to be in contact with me, you need to fill up the registration forms, because if you don't register it and say you're from a traveller community, then I can't be in contact with you. But if you can't get in contact with me, or you feels that you need to talk to somebody else first, there's Valerie Moore, she's there, or Stephanie Summers. So just let them know and they'll pass on the message to me. Yeah, so we've had things to come through traveller students, and at first they felt overwhelmed, but once they got in contact and had the supports around them, they flew through the courses. So you can contact me by my phone number. It's 085 137 3907, or you can contact me through email. So it's travelleraccess@ittralee.ie.
Thank you very much, Christina. Thanks a million for that. We might actually put those details in the chat as well, your phone number and your email address, if you just pop them in the chat for everybody. Thank you very much.
Maybe just to say it to anybody, you're only starting out, it's your first year, so like don't be afraid to ask questions, or don't feel like you're on your own, because there's no question that's there's no question that's stupid, or there's not an answer to, and sometimes you feel that it's not worth going to somebody with the question that you may have in mind. So I think once you kind of realize that you're not on your own and that everybody in IT is there to support you, you'll pull through.
Thank you very much, Christina.
Normally, I suppose like that, it's really important that we all see each other, that you guys get to see us anyway, because normally we have a lot of face-to-face contact. Obviously, that may not be the case for first semester, but I suppose I just wanted to let you guys know that myself and my colleague Myra, she's not here today, but we are the two girls that sit inside the help desk office in support services, which a lot of you will become very familiar with because it's where the health centre is, where the societies officer is. It's kind of where all your non-academic supports are located. So if you need to get to any of those officers, chances are you'll come across either myself or Myra in the meantime, whether that's through email or phone in the coming weeks. But I suppose just to make it very clear, like the guy said, you know, access the supports if you need them. If you have queries or you're really not sure where to go, your first stop will probably be the support services help desk. We'll pop the emails in again. You guys will get loads of information during orientation from our department about accessing the services, and you'll become very familiar with the email addresses and the contact numbers and things like that. But I suppose it's also really important to make you aware that when you do come on campus, you know, you guys won't have the luxury of having your tours and things like that before your classes kick off, although I'm sure your departments will look after that for you when you arrive. But just to know that, you know, if you are having a situation where you're on campus and you really don't know where to go, or maybe you can't find a classroom in North Campus, or you're simply just kind of lost when you get there, we are right inside the main door. You literally look up on the balcony, you can see a little sign for us. Whilst we can't have, you know, 10 of you all standing outside our door as we would have before, there will be procedures in place for you guys to queue up and come in one at a time to the help desk if you need to. So it's just important to know that, yes, it won't be the same. You won't be able to access us as freely as before in huge numbers, but that if you need to, you absolutely still can come and meet somebody and actually see somebody if you find yourself struggling on campus. So it's just, Myra's not here today, but she's very beautiful, I can assure you. So just so you know that one of us will always be there if you're in a sticky situation and you just need to see a face to kind of say, where do I go next? Or I need an answer to X, Y, and Z kind of quickly if you can't reach us by phone or you can't wait for an email back. All right?
Stephanie, thank you very much. Very key and important messages there to give people an idea of what to expect when they come on campus. Does anybody have any questions for Steph? Just contact us. Just throw us an email, send us a text. Just contact us and ask us. It's not a problem. Just check in with us and we'll point you in the right direction. I just want to touch on something that's probably my least favorite topic, but this is the one time where I have you all together, and it's an important message that needs to be said, and it's around changing direction. Sometimes students find that as the weeks go on, or even the semester goes on, that for some reason they feel they may not be able to continue with their studies. It could be a crisis of confidence. It could be personal issues or health issues. There could be any number of reasons why a student feels, I can't do this. I can't keep going. My circumstances won't allow it, and I need to stop. And sometimes what happens is people just go quietly into the night, and eventually we realize somewhere along the way that they've left. But nobody knew, maybe officially or even informally, that they were leaving or that they were experiencing any challenges. So if you do find yourself in that position for whatever reason, it doesn't really matter what the reason is, you just in that position, could I please, please, please ask you to please speak with somebody? It can be your class tutor, it can be your head of department, it could be the admissions office, it could be myself. Really to speak with somebody who can give you a little bit of guidance on two things really. One is what your options are. You may feel you have to leave, but you may not actually want to leave. You may feel your circumstances are creating a situation, but you don't want this situation. And in that case, if you approach us, we at least can discuss with you what the challenges are and offer any suggestions around how we might be able to support you to continue. So I suppose that's the kind of the first scenario. The second scenario is that you do have to leave. You've made your mind up for whatever reason you're leaving. And if you're leaving, we actually like to support you to leave in a constructive way, rather than just disappear quietly, because what happens if you do that is you remain a registered student at the institute. We continue to draw down whatever student services fee and free fees initiative that we're availing of for you. And if you decide to return later on, you have to pay that portion yourself. So it's really important to actually officially cease everything so that any entitlements you have can be frozen as best possible so that you can return with minimum financial impact on you. So for those reasons, I would say, look, if you are running into difficulty, it happens. It happens. We can't control everything. These things happen. But please, please speak with somebody. Please make sure you get direction and guidance on leaving, and please make sure you deregister fully and officially with the admissions office and cease your grants immediately, cease your back to educations immediately, whatever you're on, freeze it, so that it is there for you if you choose to return down the road. And you may think, oh no, now I'm not returning, I'm not returning. I've met them, they've come back, they didn't freeze the stuff, and financially they're struggling with actually being able to return. So while it's not something I like to particularly say out of the traps on your first day in our first meeting, it is something that needs to be said. Okay. I hope that you found the session helpful. Thank you for sticking with us. It's really, really new to us. Myself and Steph are texting and chatting behind the scenes to try and keep the event moving fluidly. And thank you for sticking with us. The most important thing is I hope that it was beneficial, that there was some nuggets of information that you found helpful. Usually when mature student orientation ends of a morning, students line up to ask questions that they just really didn't want to ask in front of everybody else. And I know this morning you don't have that opportunity. So please, if you would email access@ittralee.ie or valerie.moore@ittralee.ie, or my mobile again is 086 368 2453. And if you please just make contact with any questions that you have, we would be delighted to help.